The Swain mini rework is here. There are over 30 champions being adjusted for this patch, while the bounty system is being changed. There's a lot to cover in this one, but by the end of the video, you're going to be caught up with everything that you need to know heading into 14.21. And did you know mastering your champion is going to boost your win rate by a massive 9% on average? That's why at SkillCapped we offer Smurf commentaries. Simply just select the champion that you want to master and get guides from challenger experts teaching you how to play your champion in the exact rank you are stuck in. You're even guaranteed to have all of your questions answered by that very same challenger expert. After that, take one of our 5 brand new courses that teach you the secrets to carrying as a top laner, a jungler, mid laner, AD carry, and support, and it really doesn't stop there. We have new Season 14 courses on macro, wave control, trading, setting and hotkeys, CSing, vision, mechanics, low elo mistakes, and the list just goes on and on and on. The best part, though, is you can try all this out completely risk-free, since if you don't rank up while actively using SkillCapped, you're going to get your money back and there's no questions asked from our end. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below right now to get the rank that you have always dreamed of. So let's start things off by taking a look at all of the item and rune changes that are being issued for this patch. Lethal Tempo is first up, as it's going to be buffed for melee champs, with its attack speed per stat going from 5 to 6%. Blade of the Ruined King is going to be nerfed, with its current health on hit damage going from 10 to 8% for melee and from 6 to 5% for ranged. Sorc shoes are getting nerfed, with the magic pin on the boots being lowered from 15 to 12. Bounties are being changed for this patch so that minion and monster gold directly contributes to bounties instead of comparing to the average farm of the enemy team. Kill bounties are now going to be based on gold earned from kills and assists minus gold given away from deaths instead of kill and death streaks. Azir is the first champion getting buffed for 14.21, with his health regen going up from 5 to 7 and base AD being increased from 52 to 56. We finally got some more meaningful buffs to Corki, with his passive damage going from 15 to 20%, W damage is up by 50 at all ranks, and the bonus AD ratio is going from 150 to 200%. R damage is up by 10 at all ranks, while the bonus AD ratio is going from 70 to 80%. Some pretty minor Gangplank Buffs are on the way, with his mana regen going from 7.5 to 8 and E recharge time dropping by 1 second. We have a couple of buffs for Irelia, with her Q mana cost dropping from 20 to 15. Q cooldown is being lowered by 1 second. R will no longer reduce cooldown of Q by 0.5, scaling to 1.5 seconds. Q damage total AD ratio is up from 60 to 70%. Q minion damage is going down, though, from 55 scaling to 265 to 50 scaling to 237. Just one simple buff for Kayle, with her W mana cost being lowered from 90 scaling to 130 to 75 scaling to 115. Malphite is getting a tiny bit of extra base health, with it being increased from 644 to 665. Nilah's EQ damage projectile is being changed from a missile to instant. Q auto is going to remain empowered if it times out mid-swing. Our attack loadout is being reduced from 1.1 to 1 second. 2 buffs for Qiyana, as her health regen is being increased from 6 to 8. W damage bonus AD ratio is going up from 10 to 20%. Sivir is getting a few buffs, with her base AD going up from 58 to 60. Q damage is being adjusted in a similar way to what we saw for Riven last patch, with the base damage going up. However, the AD ratio on Q is being changed from a total AD ratio to a bonus AD ratio. Riot has stated that this is going to be a buff for Sivir from levels 1 to 12. Talon's W is getting a pretty nice buff, with the return damage going up by 10 at all ranks, and the bonus AD ratio is up from 80 to 90%. Teemo is going to be moving around a bit quicker this patch, as his W passive speed is up from 10 scaling to 26% to 12 scaling to 28%. W active speed is being increased as well by 4% at all ranks. And the final champ on the buff list for this patch is Xayah, as her W bonus damage is getting a boost from 20 to 25%. Now on to the champion nerfs in alphabetical order, starting off with Aurelion Sol. Base health is being reduced from 620 to 600. E damage AP ratio is taking a hit, going from 80 to 60%. Brand is getting tagged with a few nerfs, as his mana regen is dropping from 10.65 to 9. Passive max health detonation damage is dropping by 1%. Q mana cost is going up from 50 to 70. Camille is going to be losing some base health as it's dropping from 670 to 650. W damage is being lowered by a whole 20 damage at all ranks. E damage AD ratio is going down from 90 to 75%. R on hit damage will no longer have a base value. Elise is going to become a little less durable for this patch as her armor growth is dropping from 5.2 to 4.5. Of all junglers who could be nerfed, Fiddle is actually one of them for this patch as his Q current health damage is being lowered by 1% at all ranks. Galio is going to be losing some base mana as it's being lowered from 500 to 410. Gwen passive damage scaling strength is being reduced from 0.72% per 100 AP to 0.6% per 100 AP. Hwei will be receiving 2 nerfs as his QQ AP ratio is dropping from 75 to 70%, while E cooldown is going up from 12 scaling to 10 seconds to 13 scaling to 11 seconds. Kaisa will be losing some damage from her passive for this patch as it's dropping by 1 damage at all ranks, while the AP ratio is down from 15 to 12%. Passive stack damage is down as well from 1 scaling to 12 to 1 scaling to 6. Karthus ults won't be hitting quite as hard for this patch as his RAP ratio is dropping from 75 to 70%. Kassadin's scaling power is being toned down a notch with his QAP ratio dropping from 70 to 60% and EAP ratio takes a hit going from 70 to 65%. Nasus's sustain is being hit a decent amount for this patch with his passive lifesteal dropping from 12 scaling to 24% to 9 scaling to 21%. Q base damage is also being reduced by 5 at all ranks. Senna is gonna be more vulnerable for 14.21 as her base armor is going down from 28 to 25, while armor growth is dropping from 4.7 to 4. Taric's W provides him with bonus armor, and it's going to be nerfed for this patch, being lowered from 9 scaling to 13% to 6 scaling to 10%. Riot is just dishing out the armor nerfs for 14.21 as Viego is next in line with his armor growth going down from 5.2 to 4.6. Volibear is going to be losing some consistent skirmish strength as his W cooldown is being increased from 12 to 14 seconds. Yone's W is receiving a nerf with the max health damage dropping from 11 scaling to 15% to 10 scaling to 14%. And for the final champion being nerfed for this patch, we've got Yorick as his passive damage is being targeted with the base and total AD ratio dropping. Riot has stated that this is going to end up being about 5% less damage at all points in time for Yorick. Swain is the champ receiving the most amount of changes in 14.21, so let's dive right into it. There are a bunch of base stat changes being issued to Swain's health and Swain's mana. Swain's passive healing is going to be lowered, Q mana cost is being lowered, base damage on Q is down early but buffed at max rank, and AP ratio is up by 5%. W base damage is going down, AP ratio is up by 5%, slow is being increased from 25 to 50% at rank 1, however slow duration is down from 2.5 to 1.5 seconds. Reveal duration on W is going up from 4 to 6 seconds at rank 1, Swain E is being changed so that its cooldown is increased, mana cost is going up, and the spell will no longer deal damage on the way out. Base damage is heavily increased though, and AP ratio is significantly increased too. Missile width of E is going up from 170 to 180. Missile speed of E is also being changed. Swain's R cooldown is going up from 100 scaling to 60 seconds to a flat 120 at all ranks. Cooldown is now going to start on cast though, instead of post effect. Base damage on R is going down, however the base heal is going up, and Swain R heal is now going to scale with 1.25% bonus health. For the recast of Swain R, it's now going to have a cooldown of 8 seconds between recasts. Base damage on the recast is going up, AP ratio is being lowered, while the slow is going up from 60 to 75%.
Okay guys, one last thing. Our rank up guarantee is absolutely insane. It's kind of like signing up for the gym and then just getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with the top players, the rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb as easy as possible. If you're ready to level up, just visit skillcapped.com and literally see the difference.
So there you have it everyone, a complete look at every single change that's going to be headed to live servers in patch 14.21, which is set to drop this upcoming Wednesday, October 23rd. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.